Hello everyone and welcome back to the Europe Park. This is part 15. Now every single episode that I have done so far was England theme. I'm all done with that. Sorry, actually I lied. One episode was not England related. I did start a France section a few episodes ago, but I got rid of that, if you remember, or if you didn't watch it, because I was not proud of it. So since I did an England section, I thought I should continue with the UK, which is made up of England and also Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, or just Northern Ireland, I believe, according to Google. Again, I don't know that much about Europe, so I apologize if I say anything incorrectly here, but it said just Northern Ireland, but I don't know. So I'm doing Wales next. So a few months back, I don't know how it came up in conversation, but in Discord, at some point I asked Stu where he is from. For those of you who do not know Stu, he is a Roller Coaster Tycoon YouTuber. He does mainly Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic, which is the mobile version of Roller Coaster Tycoon. He does mostly scenarios, so definitely check out his channel. I'll put it in the description below. Anyway, as I was saying, I asked him on Discord where he is from, and he said Wales, and I thought that was a huge coincidence because I literally thought about doing a Wales section next in the park. I was like, perfect. He definitely knows more about Wales than I do because he lives there. So he personal messaged me a lot of cool history and ideas of what I could do. Huge shout out to you, Stu. If it weren't for you, I probably would have done something completely different and possibly something architecturally inaccurate. So Stu told me that castles are big in Wales. Big as in it's a big thing in general, not the size. Well, they are pretty big too. He showed me 3 popular ones. Sorry if I pronounced these wrong. Harlech Castle, Carnarvon Castle, and Caerphilly Castle. If I remember, I'll actually link those in the description below if you are interested. If that's not your thing, that's totally fine. I've never really been a history guy myself, but this actually kind of interested me. So in this episode, I do make a castle. And man, this brought me back some memories from my Merlin's Bay series with Royatax, because this is the exact scenery I used. Obviously, I don't think I even used it yet in the episode, but you'll see here. It'll take the majority of the episode later. But if you don't know about that Merlin's Bay series, I gotta say, it's some of my best work. It wasn't even that long ago, but yeah. Now, I don't like to do recreations in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Why? Because they always suck. The more freedom I have, the better it looks. If you watched my Tour de France episode, I recreated the Arc de Triomphe, and no surprise there, it looked bad. I want to blame it on the limited scenery, but it's really because my scenery skills suck. So I'm not going to recreate one of these castles. Instead, I'm going to just build a castle, with lots of freedom, but using scenery, obviously, that looks like one of the 3 castles I mentioned. And I actually didn't have any colorable castle scenery selected, so I had to add some in there. But one problem was that we actually maxed out our scenery, so I had to get rid of some. But I think it's totally worth it because castles are huge in Wales, or Europe in general, for that matter. I think some castle scenery is highly important, so I built a castle. I also put some vines on it, on some parts of the castle, but that was way later in the episode. That was like very end, actually. Because I've noticed in a few of the pictures there is moss on the side of the castle. I think putting vines on it will make it look more old, which they are in real life. These castles are super old. It's quite interesting. Now, I did really struggle with this castle scenery, so I built a couple coasters first. That's my strategy. I always build the coasters first and then the scenery afterwards. I'll talk about the coasters more in a second here. But I did a little terraforming, as you can see, towards the beginning of the coaster. And you can also see I started to make, just a little bit there, a nice small river around, but I didn't complete it until I wanted to wait until after I built the castle, and then I could do the river afterwards. So I first started using the castle scenery right in the beginning of the coaster, in the center station area. I personally thought it looked pretty good, but then the two coasters itself, they were very messy. You know, lots of helices, weaving everywhere, just chaos. So I really struggled getting the castle scenery in there with running into the coaster and stuff like that. But I think it turned out okay. With the vines and with the vines and foliage I do at the end, the river, the terraforming, I think it all comes together quite nicely. So now another thing Stu mentioned about the coaster part, my favorite thing, the dueling red and white dragons. I'm not going to go into full detail about the history of the dueling dragons, but of course I'll link the Wikipedia, I said that weird, Wikipedia page down below. Wikipedia is a weird word to say. So I made a dueling coaster. Perfect. Dueling dragons, dueling coaster, yay. And I incorporated it with the castle. So I'm sort of mashing two different ideas together, the castle architecture and the dueling dragons. Now, the castle part is obviously a physical thing in Wales. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. You know me, I suck at explaining things. Let me start over. Like, you know, when I built Big Ben a long time ago in this series, that's like a real life building. I used scenery to match the architecture in England. Similarly with the castle scenery. But the dueling dragons part, you know, that's more of a symbol, if that makes sense. It's not like it's architecture. Like same thing that I did with my previous episode, the lion. England's national animal is a lion. So I built a giant tannish, yellowish coaster and called it the lion. So it's more of a symbol versus making buildings like you see in England and stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, like I said, I mashed two ideas together, the castle scenery and the dragons. And yes, one is red and one is white. And yeah, this is all I'm doing for Wales, just this episode. I didn't want to take up a lot of space. I want to make sure there's room for other countries. Now, I'm thinking of doing either, Scotland or Ireland next for my theming and stuff. So if you happen to be from either of those places or know something about it, suggestions would be awesome. But there also may be a small chance that I don't do Scotland or Ireland. I could do France again, who knows? We will see. It'll be a while before I get this park back, but you know, because it's a collaboration. And as always, I like you guys to name our rides, but all of the rides are already named by me. The Giga Coaster is called the Lion because it's England's national animal. So a different name for that ride would pretty much lose the point. And then I have a corkscrew coaster, I believe, that I built in my first couple episodes. And the chain lift hill kind of goes through a Big Ben recreation. And that recreation, like I said before, I usually suck with recreations, but I think that Big Ben turned out alright. But I simply called it Big Ben, the coaster. And then obviously I named these two dueling coasters here, the Dueling Dragons, and like Dueling Red, Dueling White, or something like that. I don't even know, but something like that. So sorry if that none of you guys named a ride so far. But yeah, that is so unlike me. But hopefully I'll build some coasters in the future here that you guys can name so you guys can participate. So that just about wraps it up for this episode, actually. Make sure you subscribe. Also to my collaborators. I do not know who's going to go next. I think it's going to be SimFox, but it doesn't matter because you will be subbed to all of us anyway, so you should get notified either way. So like this video, comment any suggestions, feedback, criticism, whatever, and I will see you guys later.